this week's Q&A radio show. This is specifically for members only, exclusively for members only of the Spiritual Counseling TV network. I choose 5 questions that they leave in the forum that's private for those members, and I answer them in as much depth as I can in this show. So let us begin with question 1 of today. So I wrote down the 5 questions that I was going to answer today. And first off, we have question 1. How do you develop emotional literacy? So I thought this was a very interesting question, which is why I chose it for today, because this week's motivational speech and therapy session was actually on emotional detox based on this book. So you definitely want to watch the weekly therapy session, which is exclusive for members only at the Spiritual Counseling TV network, and the motivational speech that is also on my YouTube channel. Okay, so let me first be sipping some coffee. It's a beautiful day. So actually, I love to show the hella gorgeous. So how do you develop emotional literacy? Emotional literacy is basically another language, right? Because literacy comes from the noun of language. We need to be literate. Our ability to read people's emotions, our ability to read people for what they're really feeling and saying, not just their words, right? So this is learning to read between the lines, learning to interpret other people's emotions. But let me tell you that in order to be able to develop this emotional literacy, basically being able to interpret someone else's emotions at the moment, whether it's your partner, a boss, a child, a friend, anyone, right? We first need to develop the ability to interpret our own emotions first, being able to recognize them, manage them, and cope. And this is all from emotional intelligence. This is a question that I go very much deep in my week 10 of my latest A New You 10-Week Intensive Soul Coaching Program. Week 10 is all about emotional independence, stemming from developing emotional intelligence, which is different. It's a distinction. Because emotional intelligence is requirement in order to be independent emotionally. And being emotionally independent is different about what this question's asking, because that's about us not depending on another person or situation or substance or external source in helping us to manage our emotions. But let me tell you that how do we develop emotional literacy, being able to read the language of emotions in people and humanity, is first starting with ourselves. So this, I really recommend that you take a look at my latest 10-week intensive soul coaching program. So I hope that this helped answer this question in brief mode, but if you want to go deeper, obviously I really suggest my latest course, which is A New You. So I'm wishing you an amazing day. Thank you for your question, and namaste. Question number 2 of today, we have, my little girl is only 2 years old and she doesn't stop crying lately. She's very sensitive and vulnerable. How can I teach her to express her emotions? Okay, I have 2 things to say about this. Perhaps this little girl, you know, children are very innocent, and children are also very perceptive and very in tune with their emotions because they're untainted, right? They're unconditioned by society. So they haven't learned that crying is bad. This is what adults have trouble with, expressing their emotions. And this is what's so great about babies and little children, is that they have no problem in crying or expressing their needs. So in actuality, I feel like we need to learn from this little girl that can't stop crying, because she's trying to communicate something that something's not right. It could either be in her immediate environment, or maybe a second option is that she's sensitive to the world's energies and what's happening as a collective. So maybe she is a very sensitive child, and we need to take special measures to get to her and to be able to have her develop skills of coping as she grows older. So I would really recommend, you know, if I can see that child for counseling, and I've worked with children over my years, and I know that for children to express their emotions, obviously at the year of 2, their language is still very limited because they don't know a lot of vocabulary. So the best thing that you can do as a mother, if it's the mother that sent me the question, is to get in tune with your child and listen to what your intuition is telling you. And maybe your child has messages for you, so be open to these messages and don't close yourself off to them. So that is my answer to your question. I really hope that this answered as best I could. I'm wishing you an amazing and beautiful day. Namaste. Thank you. So now for question 3 of today. This woman said, I'm having trouble being kind to myself. Lately, I've been overly harsh on myself. How can I stop these thoughts? Thanks. Okay, this is definitely even the message of the day in the Spiritual Counseling TV network, which was keep your thoughts positive. We are to be kind to ourselves, not just to other people, and not just show compassion to other people, but also to ourselves, because we deserve self-love as well. So first off, we need to realize that we are deserving of love. And why is it that you're being overly harsh on yourself? You need to ask yourself that question. Why all the criticism? Is it constructive criticism or is it overly harsh? There's nothing wrong with criticizing oneself, but it's in the manner that we do it. So perhaps you just need to make a few adjustments in the way that you are reviewing your life, your past, and yourself, and being a little more kind. Speaking to yourself as if you were speaking to a child or someone that you love. So start with that exercise. Shift and dialogue as if you were talking to someone that you love, because you are to love yourself. So I really hope that that answered your question. Thank you and namaste. So now for question 4, we have, hi Miss Christie, I recently got your 7-day free trial. I'm a little confused about your Spiritual Counseling TV network. How is it exactly beneficial? Okay, so by you listening to your daily morning spiritual guidance, it's gonna help you to, first of all, avoid any potential of you going the wrong path, right? So let us say, like today's message was keep your thoughts positive. Maybe this is something you're struggling with. Maybe there's a potential for the energies of today in the thought thinking, the thought process, being a little bit more negative than usual or harsh. And you know, this is a little bit where I teach that by us keeping our thoughts positive, and as a reminder that I tell you on the daily morning guidance, you can take extra measures to practice the daily affirmation more forcefully, and keeping in mind with me showing up every day, that's also me teaching you discipline and hard work on your journey, and also about, you know, this is a journey. We are all humans and we have low days and high days, but no matter what, with the right guidance, with the right energy, and with the right light, we can make every day our best day, have vibrational. And that's the purpose of why I created the Spiritual Counseling TV network. Now, the weekly motivational speech is in conjunction with the weekly therapy session. The weekly motivational speech is basically an introduction to the therapy session, because the weekly therapy session is basically to give us this therapy this week as to what we are going to struggle with. Okay, so for example, this week was about emotional detox. Obviously, if we are very toxic within emotionally, we're gonna have a hard time keeping our thoughts positive, because there's gonna be so much baggage from the past and so much baggage from traumas. So that's where the therapy sessions are beneficial on a weekly basis. And the reason why I did this as a TV network is because I want to target the collective, more people. And I know that not everybody can afford these sessions or even are open to therapy, or think of it as a stigma that something's wrong with them because they're seeking therapy. But there's nothing wrong with you. Everybody needs therapy, including myself. I listen to my own videos. I listen to other masters that are my mentors, and that's how I grow in my journey, and that's what I wish to be for you. So that's the purpose of the Spiritual Counseling TV network. And of course, me answering your questions on a weekly basis gives you an opportunity to ask me personal questions that I can answer for your journey, so that if you can't afford a session, maybe you get lucky and I answer your question. So I hope that this answered your question. And also for members only, I'm beginning also a monthly love show exclusive for members. The YouTube channel will only be getting a sneak peek, but this love show is going to be our love guidance for the month. So who doesn't want to know about that? Our relationship guidance, we all need that. So how can we best navigate our love department and our relationships, whether it be romantic or even family or friendships, all kind of relationships we're going to be going into. So that's going to be a very interesting show that's exclusive as well for the TV network. So, and of course, the weekly newsletter provides the educational portion, everything written out, so that you can follow along with the therapy sessions. And you also get extra tips like your health and wellness tip of the week and other good things, other exclusive blogs that I do there. And part of the Spiritual Counseling TV network, you also get a weekly health guidance and a weekly mindful meditation. So of course, that's beneficial for us because that can be used and listened to as many times as we need throughout the week. So I make it as short as possible and sweet to the point so that they can be repeated to give you that breather during the week whenever you need it and keeping you living a peaceful, high vibrational life. So I hope that this answered your question, and I really hope that you stay a member. I'm so glad that you joined and gave it a chance. Namaste. Beautiful question. Now, last question of the day. We have question 5. Hello, Miss Christie. I'm writing to you because this world crisis has really been affecting my personal life lately. I'm having trouble focusing and staying optimistic about the future. Any advice? Okay, well, first of all, this is where our spirituality comes into play. This is about our blind faith. This is the only way that we can maintain this optimism if we trust in a higher source, in a higher power, and surrender to the divine plan, the divine order, and the divine timing. Because as us being human beings, there's only so much that we can do. And we are being asked to take action in whatever way that we can, but the rest needs to be surrendered. So first off, how do you focus? You focus by distracting yourself from the outside chaos and crisis and focusing on your internal world, your personal space, and your immediate environment, your career, what you love to do, your home, your family. And that's exactly what the focus is this month. And how do we stay optimistic about the future? That's just about trust. We need to trust that better things are coming. That was actually yesterday's daily podcast message. The best is yet to come. So make sure that you're also watching the Be Inspired Daily podcast show. They're only like a minute long, a brief message for the day, and it's absolutely free for everybody as long as you just become a free member on my website. So all you got to do is basically just give me your email and your name, and you have access to those podcasts. So if you're listening to this on YouTube and you're not a member of the Spiritual Counseling TV network, I really recommend that you at least take a look at those podcast shows, because that really is going to boost your day and inspire and motivate you to keep going. So I really hope that you enjoyed these 5 questions for this week of August 3rd to August 9th, 2020. Please leave your questions for the next show in my forums section exclusive for members only. So have an amazing and beautiful day. Namaste.